John, you often talk about four critical dimensions that are required to be a successful international business leader. Could you talk about the four and provide some examples of each?
Certainly, Phil. As I mentioned, the first set are basic skills that anyone ought to have, anyone should develop throughout one's career, including basic business skills, basic knowledge of the business, leadership, communication, project management, negotiation, etc. Including basic social skills, such as strength of character, ability to work in a team situation, sensitivity, creativity, integrity. Those are skills that are absolutely core. Now, with respect to international business, there are three major groupings of additional characteristics that a person has to have, has to develop in order to be effective. The first of these, international economics and finance, or accounting, includes things such as the difference between generally accepted accounting practices in the US and GAAP practices that are different in other countries. And that's absolutely vital when doing business in other countries in terms of clearly being in compliance with the law, but also in terms of making money. There are laws that have been passed by the United States, such as Sarbanes-Oxley, which impose significant accounting and recording requirements on U.S. companies doing business abroad. And it's important for one to understand what they are and to ensure compliance with them. One has to understand exchange rates. One has to understand the concept of hedging and understand the local cost of living so that you clearly understand what a local appropriate wage is for a particular skill so that you're not either overpaying or underpaying or mispricing your product so that you're not making money in a local environment. There are taxation issues. United States companies doing business in other countries are faced with local taxes. In some cases, they're very high, and you have to realize that in order to be competitive in those environments, you have to take that taxation into account and be that much more effective than your competition locally. Otherwise, you simply won't make any money. And that involves things such as treaties between those countries and the United States. There are free trade agreements that have to be understood and factored into the cost of doing business and the way you do business in other countries. You have to understand what comprises or constitutes a local taxable presence. And before you begin to do business, you have to understand whether you are going to be subject to local taxes or not. And then there are things such as hiring and firing people in other countries. In many countries around the world, there are mandatory 13th, 14th, even 15th month salary pays that you have to give to people. You have to understand, for example, in some countries there are rice subsidies that are mandatory to pay to your employees. You have to understand that there are severance packages that are required, and the difficulty of getting a poor performing employee off your payroll in certain countries. So those are just some of the international economic and finance or accounting issues that one has to master to be effective in other countries.